What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another one of my videos. Today I'm gonna continue working on the Genesis. I already finished putting the motor together, and I also finished working on the cross member. So I was using this oil pan and it wouldn't fit. I had to modify the cross member, so that's done. I'm gonna be using the original brackets for the motor mounts. I'm not gonna be using the motor mounts, just the brackets. I'm gonna either weld extensions on this, or I'm gonna make them bolt on to the new mounts. I'm not gonna be using the original mounts. I'm gonna be using the different mounts. I'm also gonna be using this tool so I can hang the motor and move it up and down and side to side. This tool is gonna make it easier. And I'm also gonna be using the straps, because the straps, I'm able to move the motor up and down and side to side, so it makes it a lot easier. I'm also gonna try to start working on the harness once I'm done with the motor mounts. So this should be interesting, this should be fun. So let's get started. Okay, I'm gonna start by dropping the motor in. Once I drop it in, I have to connect it to the transmission. Then I'm gonna be using this tool to adjust the height and side to side, make sure the motor is right where I want it. Once it's right where I want it, I'm gonna start doing the motor mounts. Like I said before, I'm gonna be using the original brackets. I might add to the brackets, either weld them or do bolt on. I'm also gonna be using the original holes on the cross member where the old motor mounts used to sit. I might use the original mounts from the Genesis, or I might get different ones, whatever's gonna make my life easier. So once I finish with the motor, I'm gonna start doing the transmission. For the transmission, I think I'm gonna do a cross member from scratch. I think it's easier than modifying the original one because it's aluminum. Then I'm gonna take measurements so somebody can do the drive line for me. Once I finish that, I'm gonna start doing the harness. But for now, I'm gonna focus on the motor mounts. So let's drop it in. So this is the progress so far. I already pretty much set up the motor to start doing the mounts. I checked the distance from the left-hand side and the right-hand side, and it's the same distance. You can't really measure it from the chassis or the cross member because it's different distance. But I pretty much got it leveled. I also installed the transmission. So there is a transmission. I'm using a T56. I already also measured the distance, so make sure it sits right in the middle. Everything cleared, so I'm gonna start working on the cross member for the transmission, and I'm gonna start doing the motor mounts too. Okay, so I was gonna try to use the original Genesis mounts, but they sit too high and they also don't line up with the bracket. I mean, that's not a problem, but it'll be better if they just line up. Instead, I'm gonna go with these ones right here. I'm gonna go with these ones. They're from an early 90s Dodge van. See, they're gonna sit a lot lower, and then also the stud, it's off. It's not perfectly lined up, so they're gonna compensate for the bracket. So this is the bracket, and then this is the stud. It kind of lines up. So it's gonna be a lot easier for me to do the mounts. I used these mounts in the past, and they're pretty good mounts. I've used them on B8 swaps, on 2J swaps, and I mean, so far it's been 5-6 years, and they hold up pretty great. So I'm gonna go with those motor mounts and see how it goes. I'm gonna be using this material to do my motor mounts. It's 2 inches by a 1/4 inch thickness. So pretty much I'm gonna do a bracket on top of the motor mount, and then from there I'm gonna connect it to the motor bracket. I'm pretty much gonna weld it right here from the top to the sides of this bracket. So it's gonna be one bracket with this one, and it's just gonna bolt onto the motor mount, and the motor mount, the bracket is gonna bolt onto the engine. Okay, so I already cut my 2 pieces that are gonna go on top. I already found the center where I'm gonna drill the hole. So I'm gonna go over to the mill, and I'm gonna drill the holes on both the brackets. Then I'm gonna start doing the other ones that are gonna connect these two pieces together. Alright, so that's how they're gonna sit. They actually fit pretty well. So now I'm gonna do my other two pieces, and I should be able to weld everything back together. So here's one side of the motor mounts that I'm making. I'm gonna have to take them off right now and finish welding them off. I'm only working on this side right now. Once I'm done, I'm gonna start working on this side, but that's pretty much how it's gonna look. Of course, I'm gonna finish welding them all together, and I'm gonna spray in black. Here's one of the brackets. I already finished welding it together. I put an extra bracket on top for more reinforcement. So I'm gonna spray it black, and then I'm gonna start working on the other one. Okay, so here's one bracket done. I'm gonna make the second one. This is gonna be for the right hand side of the car. So this one's already cut. I already cut this one. I'm gonna cut this one, and then I'm gonna weld them to the other bracket and bolt them onto the motor mount. Okay, so here are my two brackets. I'm gonna weld them on right now. There's my welder, so I'm gonna just tack them on, take it off, and completely weld them on. Okay, I'm done with both sides of the motor mounts. This is how they came out. I'm gonna start doing the transmission one once I finish all three of them. Well, these two are done already. Once I do the transmission, and then I'm gonna paint them, and I gotta pull out the motor again. But I think first I'm gonna do the exhaust, and I gotta figure out the transmission linkage, because it's totally different, and I gotta figure something out. I wanna leave the stock shifter, so I gotta make a bracket for the shifter as well. I didn't record much about the process, but here's my transmission bracket. I just took a couple of measurements and cut a couple of brackets and pieces, and I just welded them together. So I'm gonna install it right now. Okay, so I'm done with the mounts. This is how the motor is gonna sit now. So that's the one for the tranny. Okay, so that's gonna be it for the mounts. Okay, so I've been installing the long tube headers to see if they fit. This side fits perfect. There's no clearance issues. But on this side over here, I run into a couple of clearance issues. I don't think the motor mount is gonna be a problem, but definitely the bracket for the sway bar, see, doesn't let it line up. So I think I'm gonna have to take it off. Let me go underneath and show you guys. Okay, so this is a problem right here. It's hitting on this bracket. So I'm gonna take this bracket off, and hopefully I don't have to mess with the motor mount on this side. See, this side cleared, no problem. So I don't have to do anything on this side, but the problem is gonna be this side over here. So I'm gonna remove this bracket. I'm gonna take this piece off, and then I'm gonna throw this back in and see how it fits. Okay, so I cut the piece of the bracket off, and now I was able to put it on. Okay, so I'm working on the shifter right now. So I'm gonna extend it. I think the one that came in the box with the what's it called, with the short shifter. I think it's gonna be long enough, but I want to keep the original shifter, so I might cut it and weld it together. I'm still undecided, but I'm gonna do something definitely about it. I don't think I could do a bolt-on. I might be able to do a bolt-on, but I think it's gonna be better if I just weld it together. And I also have to modify the exhaust, like this one. It's gonna hit, so I have to cut it somewhere where the oxygen sensor is. So I'm just gonna cut it somewhere right here, and I'm gonna angle it straight. And on the other side, I still have to modify the manifold on this side because it's gonna hit on the shaft. So that's the last two things I have to do. I just gotta connect the shifter and fix the manifold, actually both of them. And once I fix both of them, I should be done. The other thing I want to do, I want to connect the sway bar, but I'm gonna relocate it because it was back here. See, there's the brackets for it, and I think I'm just gonna, there's a bracket right here, so I'm gonna cut that off, and that's where I'm gonna bolt the new brackets, not the new ones, the existing ones. So I'm gonna modify them a little bit, and I'm gonna see if they fit here. If they do, I'm just gonna use them because I don't want to leave it without a sway bar. So I'm gonna start doing the shifter right now, and then I'll get to the manifolds and the sway bar. Once I'm done, I'm gonna start doing the exhaust. I already got all the stainless 3-inch. I'm gonna go 3-inch. I'm just waiting for the X pipe, and then I'm gonna start working on the exhaust. So I was gonna extend it where it's at, but it's not gonna work because it's hitting on the tunnel. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a hole right where it's at, and extend it inside of the cap. I wanted to use the existing shifter location, but like I said, it's not gonna work. And to make it work, I'm gonna have to bring the tranny down, and if I bring it down, it's not gonna be level to the chassis. See the way it is right now, it's almost leveled. And I also don't want to lose the angle from the transmission tail housing to the differential. So I mean, I'm not gonna have the perfect angle, but it's kind of close. So I'd rather not sacrifice none of that geometry. So like I said, I'm just gonna do. Okay, so I had to cut the tunnel a little bit more because the shifter wouldn't clear, but this is pretty much what it is and how it looks. I'm gonna take the shifter off and finish welding it. I had to weld, I didn't bolt it on because it wouldn't work, it wouldn't clear. And on top I had to weld a little extension where the shifter is gonna bolt onto. So I'm gonna take it off, finish welding it, and then I'm gonna put everything back on, and I'll show you guys how it looks. Okay, I got the shifter working, so it works the way I want it to. But I cannot leave this big old hole like that because all the noise is gonna get inside of the car, and also if it's cold or hot, it's gonna get inside of the car. So I gotta cover this hole, and I already made a plate. I already cut the plate. I just gotta cut the hole where the shifter is gonna travel, and I'm gonna be using this boot as well, so that I can minimize the amount of noise and heat or cold temperature, whatever, going inside of the vehicle. So let me go ahead and finish this plate, and once I'm done, I'm gonna show you guys the final product. Here's my bracket. I'm done with it. I already drilled the holes, so I'm gonna put this on top of the hole I made, and then I'm gonna put some rubber pieces to cover the rest of the hole, and it's gonna be a boot, so it has to be flexible for the shifter. But let me paint this and install it. Once I'm done, I'll show you guys how it looks. Okay, so I'm done with the bracket. I'm gonna put a foam in between so it seals the inside of the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and install that right now, and I'm gonna wait for the shifter because I'm not gonna install it right now because I still have to do the exhaust. And once I finish the exhaust, I gotta bring the whole motor and tranny, everything down, because I gotta do a couple of other things. Once I'm ready to throw everything back, then I'll install the shifter. So I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this bracket on for now. Okay, so this is how it's gonna look. I'm gonna put a piece of rubber on front of it, and then on the back, that's where the shifter is gonna go. So I gotta make sure that it's not gonna interfere with the shifter. I already tested it and it doesn't. So I'm not gonna bolt this on right now. Once I'm ready to put the shifter on, then I'll bolt it on. But that's pretty much how it's gonna look. So let me go ahead and start doing the exhaust, and then I'll show you guys how the shifter's gonna look once I'm ready to put everything back in. Okay, so I'm done with the shifter. I'm not gonna put it on yet because I gotta bring the tranny down so I can finish the motor. I still gotta put the clutch and all that stuff. But I'm gonna start working on the exhaust. This side I have to angle it a little bit because it almost hits on the heat shield. So I gotta angle this one, and this one it doesn't fit at all because of the steering shaft. So I gotta reroute the manifold. So this last one right here, I gotta reroute it. I went to JMD. I got some angles. So I don't know what's gonna work, but I got 245s and a 90. I think that should be enough to reroute it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm not gonna record how to do it because I don't wanna spend like 10 minutes recording. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fix it, and once I finish it, I'll show you guys how it looks. Okay, so I've been working on this manifold. I'm almost done. As you can see, one of the runners, I had to modify this one because the one right there doesn't clear the steering shaft. So I gotta go around the steering shaft. I'm gonna reroute that. Like I said, I modified that one too. I had to, so I can make the other one fit. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to finish that right now. But once I finish that, I should be okay to start working on the exhaust. Okay, so I'm done modifying the manifold. This is how it came out. I already test fitted on the car and everything clears, so I'm happy. There's the other manifold. I was gonna do the whole exhaust. I was gonna finish it, and I was gonna do the harness on this video, but I don't wanna make this video too long. So I'm gonna stop right here. I already made extra progress that I haven't showed, but I'm gonna show it on the next video. I'm already working on the third video, but that's gonna be it for now. Thank you guys for watching.